Warning, this video is only for 14 and up, and if you're under, please leave this video because I will not be accused of something I don't want to be accused of. Please, if you're under, leave the video. Stories go through the air. You can listen and you cannot. But stories are here to help. Understand what is right and what is wrong. But sometimes stories can do the opposite. There's no right or wrong. You have to form your own opinion. But that is not what you're here for. You're here to listen to this silly little god of this channel. Listens to his mind going on about his stories, about the different worlds where he's traveling to, and where he can make some small different in a timeline. Welcome to the Blue Mask What If channel. Hello everybody, this is Blue Mask and welcome back to my channel. Hope you guys will enjoy. Let's begin. Hello everyone, this is Blue Mask and welcome back to my channel. I hope you guys will enjoy this next part of What If Deku Was a Sheikah. Now, where we last left off, Deku and his group, fell down the, shaft of the dungeon. That being Bell, Reef, Lily, and Welf. Fell down, a hole because of the Teku Mikasi Familia fell down and, broke the bridge they were on, with a Renard as well. Yeah, so Harime is introduced to the series. And the team have to, go down through floors 17 to go down to 18 to, go back up with another Familia. They reached the floor and... they reached floor 18, met Eyes, and, the whole where they woke up and everything else happened. And, Reef is introduced to the Loki Familia. I think Ryu was sent down there to, figure out what the fuck happened to Bell, because Hylia could feel that Bell and the others were in trouble when Bell got injured. So she was sent down there and met an Amazon, that was Aisha. They went down to floor 18, they introduced, and Eyes and Bell had a moment on the cliff where they talked to each other in the original canon. Where Bell finally, so you guys could hear it, revealed what happened to him making the trip to Aurario. Him killing his friend. Actually executing him because he went insane. Please, if you don't understand, go back to the last video. Then you will probably understand what I'm talking about. Anyways, that is where we last left off. I hope you guys will enjoy. So, let's begin. We see in the morning light of floor 18, where Bell was sitting on the same cliff, he confessed to Eyes why he was actually there in the beginning. Bell was sitting looking out to the, forest of floor 18. Bell picked up a, Bell had picked up a, wood from, the dungeon and started to carve into the wood itself. He was cutting it with a knife with a, it looks like a regular knife with a ball kind of end to it. Bell got this knife from his old friend, the one he executed. After his death, he took the knife from his body to remember him, and he has kept that knife for, well, I think I said 2 years of travel for him. And he has used that knife to, well, just carve into some few woods and everything else. Yes, Bell is he does make items from wood, like small statues and that stuff. I think I said that they have wooden weapons. I don't think people would actually sell wooden training weapons. So Bell has carved them, the wooden weapons that they use for training himself. So Bell was sitting on that cliff right now, carving a certain, instrument in his hand. After some few moments, footsteps came over to where Bell was and sitting down beside him. Bell looked over and saw it was Eyes. Hello, Eyes. Hello, Bell. How are you feeling? Calm most of the time. Why do you ask? It was mostly because of what you told me last night. You are disappointed in me? No, I'm not. It sounded petty at first that you killed him because you had a crush on the princess. It does sound petty. But it seems he went more and more crazy than you realized. Sorry. When you talked, he seemed more and more crazy. He could only say one sentence in the last week of his life. I'm the hero, I'm supposed to be the hero. That sentence over and over again. Bell stopped carving, the item and was revealed to be an ocarina. Weird instrument. This is the natural. This is the kingdom's national instrument. The ocarina. I'm not good at playing it, but I know some few tunes. I'm not gonna play it though. Bell put the 2 items away from, his side. I've never seen you with that knife before. Oh. This was his knife. I took it from his body after the execution. I wanted something from him that reminds me of him. And after that, I just had it on me. I see. Bell put the knife away into his bag he had on him and stood up. So, you came over here for something. What is it? Oh. I stood up and looked at Bell. The girls wanted to show, the rest of your party Riveria. Really? They want to show us? Yes. do you want to come? Yeah, why not? I have nothing to do. Belle walked with eyes out to the camp when he saw his friends. And the Amazon twins. Walking over to them, they asked if he wanted to come with, and he agreed. Walking with, the group and everything else, Belle was in the back with, Eyes walking beside him, and Ryu coming up as well. So, Belle, I'm sorry to say, but some of us heard your story. You heard it. Yes. I do not blame you. It seems petty. I know it seems petty. But he seems like he lost his mind. He did. He was not the same. I'm sorry. You had to do that. I know. Belle kept walking forward with, the two girls beside him. When after 20 minutes they arrived at... Wait, this is a place where people live? Belle pointed at the, town of Riveria. Yes, it is. Are you kidding me? It looks like a Bokoblin camp. Reef, looking at Belle, looked back at the town. Now that you mention it, it actually does. What is that? Lily asked, looking back. You know what a Bokoblin is, right? Yeah. Bokoblin is monsters that make sometimes bases. Belle pointed at the town. That looks like one. Well, without the houses and everything else, but the outside looks the same. Wow, that's an insult. Yeah, it is. All of them walked inside and, they were shown around the town and the shops. And let me say, Lily wasn't happy about the bag, but luckily she didn't have to buy a new bag because she still had one. And, Eyes, Tiona, and Tioni explained that, it's more expensive down here because they don't get a lot of supplies. Okay, that makes sense. But why do they have to mark it up? This is 5 times the price in the city itself. Belle picked up a whetstone that looked at. I don't know, it's just like it down here. Belle put the whetstone down and walked with the others when he bumped into... Watch your way, you! Belle looked at the gruff, kind of bandit guy, but Belle recognized him as the guy from Hostess of Fertility. Oh, great. Bandit guy. What did you say? The guy went forward, but the other one stopped him. Oh, Mord, please don't do anything stupid. What? This guy needs to deserve his beating. I wouldn't do that. Pointing over at Eyes that looked at them with a angry look. You know the Sword Princess? Yeah, funny thing. I actually helped her down on lower floors. Wait, what? Yeah, I'm quite stronger than you know. Mord, ignoring Eyes, grabbed Belle by his, shirt and tried to pull him nearby, but Belle just grabbed his arm and put his into a where he has his hand on his neck and his arm back. And I won't do that if I was you. Damn brat! Come on, Mord, just let it go. One of the guys said, and well, all of them walked off after Belle released Mord. What's up with those guys? Probably losers. The twins talked about the incident with Belle and Mord. Are you okay? Ice walked up and Belle nodded. Yeah, they're nothing to me. I see. The group walked off, but in one of the alleyways, two people were standing there looking at this exchangement. It was a blue-haired woman and a, god with golden hair and a hat. Are you sure this is a good idea, Lord Hermes? Oh well, I just want to see how the child actually does. He's a Sheikah, and I want to know everything there's about. Well, a Sheikah. Never seen them a lot. Lord Hermes walked away and, disappeared into the alleyway with Ashby. After walking around the town for a few, minutes, Belle was in a kind of square or, near a tree that was almost in the middle of the town when, the girls started talking about some babs. Belle, hearing this, ignored what they were, talking about and just looked around. Well, there's nothing more for me to do here. Town is kind of actually boring. Yeah, you don't say so. Welf walked over and stood beside him. Belle was sitting down on the rock, by the way. Nothing much to do here, except drinking, eating, buying useless crap. You don't say so. Hey, man, I will just... you heard me? Yeah. Look, I know it sounds like... Yeah, I heard your conversation with Rio. If you need someone to talk to about it, don't worry, my goddess is a good, person to talk to. I've gotten help from her. Oh, that's great, Belle. It is. Both of them looked back where the girls were and they, started to walk off. Belle looked a little confused but then realized, Oi, where are you going? Lily turned around to, shout at Belle. We're going to get a bath. Don't follow us. Both Welf and Belle and Oka raised their hand like, alright, and the other guy that is in Oka's party raised their hands with all the other girls going off. So, what now? Welf asked, looking at the guys. Well, nothing was here that interested me. Chigusa Oka asked and Belle nodded. Yeah, same thing. You guys want to spar? Belle looked at the three others and they nodded at this. After walking out of Riveria, they found a spot near where a river was going through, where Belle said, You need to learn how to fight in water, on rocks that's wet, or with wet clothes.
Bell pulled out found some good sticks that, they can use for training. After some, few minutes of just sparring with, no, not with the sticks, with their weapons. Not trying to hurt each other, but just trying to, almost hit them. Bell won a lot of the spars, but when he was fighting Oka, Bell got little close to the edge of where the river was, flowing through. And when Oka, rushed forward, Bell tried to jump, but when he tried to jump, a rock came loose under his foot. So he, slipped down the cliff of the area where the river was going down. Bell, feeling it, tried to grab on something, but he just kept sliding through the kind of river that was going down, with Welv, Oka, and the other guy yelling at where Bell was going. After, sliding for a few minutes and actually hitting his foot on something, it hurt bad. It's not broken or anything. It just fucking hurt because he hit something. After some few moments of yelling, trying to grab something, Bell could feel that he was flung off where the water was. Bell, turning around, saw, only golden hair before landing in the water with, Bell's eyes just went dark after that. Because when he hit the water hard. After some few moments, Bell woke up, on the ground near some water. Bell looked confused at this and looked up to see, all of the girls there, but dressed in their clothes. The fuck? Wait, what are you guys? Bell looked confused at all the girls being around him. Well, Lily started. We heard some screaming coming down the, waterfall area when we were bathing. And then you just came and down the river and just flew off where the waterfall started and landed near eyes. But you hit a head on a rock when you came down and you were knocked out for a few moments. Oh shit, I'm sorry about that. Wait. Bell remembers when he, looked at golden hair and... Oh god, I'm so sorry, Eyes. Bell immediately panicked and apologized immediately to Eyes, but she said it was fine, it was an accident. After some few moments, Welv, Oka, and the other guy came rushing down to the lake, asking if Bell was alright. Yeah, I must say, what the hell happened to Bell? I kinda got dumb for a moment and stood near a river area that's connected to the waterfall. We sparred and I got close to the edge. The ground seemed stable, but when I tried to jump, it cracked when I moved. Seems like I got duped there for a moment. Yeah, the ground here is kind of weird, Lufia said, picking up a dirt clump. It can be stable when you walk on it, but when you put pressure on it, Dufia held a clump of that looks like a rock, by the way, but when she put pressure on it, the rock just crumbled away. I see. So it's more like hardened mud? Yes, near the river parts. We should have probably mentioned that. That's fine, Belle said. Anyways, Belle's standing up, but winces at his, right foot. Shit, I think I hit something when I went down the river. Let me help. Eyes went over to, put Belle's arm around her shoulder. You don't need two eyes. Belle blushed a little looking at Eyes, but she just... You got injured when you were sparring. You need help. I'm fine, I just need some potions. Lily, No, do you remember? We don't have more. Fuck. So... Some... potions? Normal potions here? Yeah. The guy from Oka's Familia walked over with some potions. I keep some on me if we get injured. Thanks. Belle took it and swallowed it. Well, swallowed the content of the bottle, but it took a little while when they started to walk back to the, camp. After some 2 hours, Belle's foot was completely fine. And after Belle moved around, it didn't hurt a lot. Belle thanked the guy and sat down in the tent just for a few moments. But after that, Belle walked out to, just find a spot for himself. Belle walked alone, up a hill and over to a platform he saw where he was sparring. It was kind of a arena area that Belle thought that was much better, but the water combat, the river fight was more, better for foot to foot, step to step combat where they don't have to slip. Sitting down nearby, Belle pulled out the ocarina he carved out and started to play it. I think I want just choose a melody of the Ocarina of Time or any ocarina song and play it if you want to. Belle sat there for a few moments playing the ocarina when he heard footsteps coming. But this was not his friends. Looking over, Belle saw Mord and his friends walking towards him. Belle looked at the group that was walking towards him and stood up, looking at the group. Sorry if it sounds weird, it's been a day later since I last recorded. Belle looked at the group that was walking towards him with Mord in front of, the group. Mord stood there with a very awful grin. Alright, listen up, rat. Okay, what do you want? I want to challenge you to a fight. Oh, you want to fight? That's fine. Oh, really? You think you can beat me? Yeah, pretty sure I can beat you. Belle pulled out his long sword, not his short sword, for this. Belle grabbing the hilt of his blade, grabbing his katana, or big katana, in a, well, normal grip of a user of a katana, Bell stood in a, well, stance that looks relaxed to Mord. Alright then, brat. Mord pulled out his sword and runs towards Bell, swinging it towards Bell with Bell blocking the strike of the sword and kicks Mord away, but when Mord throws something at Bell, being, well, dirt, Bell jumped away, not getting hit, but when he looked back at Mord, he was gone. Looking around the arena and not seeing him, Bell focuses on his hearing. Bell looked, well, he heard around him and hear someone rushing towards him from the left. Bell, using his instinct and his hearing, blocked the strike from Mord with his sword. You can see me? I can hear you, you idiot. Kicking Mord in the stomach and, well, throwing him away, Bell realized that he needs to, well, focus on this. So, closing his eyes, Bell just listened. Hearing the footsteps of Mord coming up, well, from the right side of him now, Bell heard the air of the, well, there from the blade swinging at him, blocking the sword, and started to fight Mord close up, so he doesn't have the time to run away. Bell blocked some few strikes from Mord, and when Mord tried to cut Bell from top to bottom, Bell swung up with his sword, destroying Mord's sword, shocking him, and for that, Bell immediately raised his, leg up and swung it down on Mord's head. With a sound of a breaking sound, Bell opened his eyes to see Mord is now visible again. Mord trying to stand up, but Bell had his blade at his neck. Don't be an idiot. Mord looked at him in fear because Bell had his eyes closed but could fight Mord with his eyes open. Just parent down and get out of here before I actually kill you. Mord trying to speak, Bell put the blade at his neck when it cuts a little bit into him. I said, don't do anything stupid. Sorry. At Mord looking at Bell and his terrified look, he nodded and Bell, sheathed his long katana on his back with Mord and his buddy just going away from Bell. After some few minutes of looking at Mord and his group disappeared into the wood, Bell walked back towards the camp of the Loki Familia, but before Bell could even arrive, the floor went dark. Oh wait, did it go red? Give me a second. Okay, the sky turned red when Bell looked up to see what the hell was happening. And looking up at the sky at the crystal ceiling, a giant, two giant figures in the ceiling appeared of a soldier in armor and a giant with black skin. When the figures came so close and disappeared from the, ceiling, two figures came from this crystal ceiling and landed in the middle of the floor. Bell had a bad feeling. Something went horribly wrong that the dungeon itself reacted. Running back towards the camp where his, familia friends were, Bell arrived to see, the Loki familia being prepared of fighting with Finn and the others, making a plan to the two figures being the boss that Ice fought, Udeus, on floor 36, 37, I think. And the Goliath has also appeared on the floor. Bell rushed over to where Finn was and asked what happened to the dungeon. And Finn didn't know exactly, but what he was told by, Bell's friends from the Take Familia, Aisha had picked up the pieces that Bell broke of the color of Haruhime's necklace. By the way, I will change that. Bell didn't, I think I said Bell froze the entire collar and shattered it. But in this one, because I think it will be possible, Bell froze 2 points on the, on the collar that Haruhime was wearing, and broke the two of them, the two sides, with two pieces. The collar breaking off to two pieces. Aisha had a plan to pick up the collar and pronounce, Haruhime dead to Aisha. Not Aisha. Aisha wanted to pronounce Haruhime dead to, Ishtar, because, as I said in a previous episode, Ishtar can only feel... She cannot feel all of her members. If one of them is dead, she cannot feel that. So, if Aisha said that it looks like the collar was broken before she died, Aisha can tell Ishtar a lie if she does it perfectly. But when Aisha picked it up and accidentally touched it both sides of it, with, Aisha putting the two pieces together in both of her hands, Ishtar felt the collar activate again, and she sent out, for what Finn could understand, a pressure to see where Haruhime was, but that accidentally sent off her divine aura into the collar, and the dungeon reacted. And Bell understand what the fuck happened, asked what the plan was. In the middle of the floor, Finn and some of his members were sent out to see what was going on. It's the Black Goliath in the original canon, and a Yugi Udeus with its skeleton body underneath with black armor that's covering it head to toe. It looks like a medieval knight for Europe, if you don't know. Give me a moment. Sorry about that. Udeus armor looks like a European armor set, full metal armor set, by the way, that is covering his chest area, his arms, and the lower body of his torso. He doesn't have legs, by the way. And his skull, instead of being, I think it's 2 horns. I think Udeus had 2 horns. It's a crown of bones horns sticking out that looks like a giant crown. And him being black black color in the original version. Udeus is a more whitish color. The skeleton is bright white, but the armor set is black. And when he hit the ground, he, is stuck to it like in the actual battle. But he drags out the sword that he uses in Ice's fight. So he dragged that out when he landed on the, floor. And the Goliath is just, normal. The normal, irregular Goliath. So after Bell got all the info about the giant, Finn split up everyone. Finn using what they know and everything else, the members of the high members being all Gareth, Riveria, Finn, executive, and all that's level 4 or any level 4s are going towards Udeus, with all the level 3s being going to the fight with the Goliath. After Bell heard about that, he immediately called over Reef and informed the town of what happened. Informed them they have to get ready to fight the regular Udeus, because he was informed that most of the townspeople are mostly level 2s and level 1s that got down with some level 2s. So after Reef flew off to inform, Riveria, Bell went and, no, he does have all his blades. So after Bell sent off Reef, he joined up with his group. And Aisha, being a more, stronger person, decided to go with... No, Eyes and Aisha decided to go with the Goliath battle for safety's sake with the others. Even though Ryu is a level 5, she chose to go to battle with the irregular Goliath. So after everything and the battle plan of their group was done, everyone split off and started to do their own thing. Bell, being one of the quickest one, arrived at the area where the Goliath landed, and the Udeus's fight was way off, if you walk normally from the place where Goliath is and to the Udeus fight, Udeus, it will probably take 15 minutes of, walking. After Bell arrived in the area, he saw that some of adventurers has been camping around the place. And the Goliath has landed on a camp of adventurers. Seeing some injured and everything else, Bell immediately went over, grabbing anyone he could to get them out of there. Being fast and strong, he immediately checked out people that could, move, and told them to run away. With them listening, and Bell grabbing some of the injured, handing them over to some that could run away. And grabbing himself some injured, but he also found two corpses of, he also found two corpses that was crushed, being, some random people. But Bell, after leaving the injured at a camp they had set up with some of the mages, where Luthia was actually, Bell handed them over to that group and immediately rushed back to, well, find some more, and not finding a group, went over to where the two corpses was and picking them up. This being just random people he grabbed. Well, the two bodies he grabbed and went over to the campsite, but when he got there, he just laid them down and told them they were already dead. And because he wanted a count of people that would die in this battle, Bell told them that... No, Bell didn't tell them anything. He just grabbed the corpses and laid them in front of the tent. And rushing back to the fight, Bell drew his weapon and saw some mages was chanting when he saw Luthia rushing over to them to help them. Seeing some other people rushing from the, Riviera town to the campsite that is nearby, so supplies and everything was going to them, but also other people were rushing towards the Loki camp that's more over to the Udeus fight. Bell was jumping, out of the tree line towards Udeus to see some adventurers, trying to attack Udeus, and Bell held out, cutting up the legs and everything else, with setting his blade on fire with his magic. Bell used his magic to cut into the Goliath and hitting them multiple times when he rushed by, leaving carving marks and everything else, but when he landed he spotted that it's healing? Are you kidding me? Bell shouted out in panic, seeing the wounds he caused healing up. Rushing, around the Goliath when it was trying to stab, Bell spotted two people almost being, crushed by the Goliath. While he was nearby two people that was almost getting crushed by Goliath, grabbing both of them and placing them away. Bell right now is visible to the adventurers and Goliath, because he doesn't want to be hit by other adventurers in this, so he thought with his cloak that he always hides behind when people can't see him. Literally, he can go invisible by his skills, but right now he allowed people to see him. Sorry. Bell was rushing and jumping over, rocks and everything, cutting into the Goliath, cutting underneath behind the knees so it would fall as deep as he could. But when Bell rushed over to the tree line to, stop and look, nothing he did helped, because it was just healing and healing. Oh yeah, I think I forgot to name what Bell... Yeah, Bell just got his normal skills. Bell has the Argonaut skill now and the Lock skill. Seeing that nothing happened, Bell jumped away a little bit more away from the battle, almost at the tree line, when he saw some of his friends, helping people get away from the fight, and, fighting Goliath, cutting into the feet and, everything else, trying to hit him, cut him, but nothing worked. So Bell decided to use his new skill and started to charge it up. Over at the Udeus fight. Eyes was fighting some of the skeletons that the Udeus monster had spawned. Instead of being pure skeletons, these one has armor sets, helmets, and well, they still spawn with weapons, but they have armor pieces on now, and she's cutting through them to allow some of the members to handle themselves. I jumped away from a swing from the Udeus, where Gareth went in to block the hit. After, Gareth blocked it, Ice went on the blade and rushing up to the, shoulder area. Ice activated her magic and started to hit where the armor pieces were. Seeing that it was cracking off, Ice kept jumping around and hitting that area. When she saw the crystal that was right now, it's still, I think it's red color in the original canon, so it still stayed red. The joint on the monster, she saw Udeus's joint. She immediately, attacked that area, even though it took a while. The arm broke and fell off with its weapon. All, the executive and the members cheered upon this, but the arm was grabbed by Udeus and placed where it was, and the crystal formed again to, Udeus is using his weapon. It can take its own limbs back? Gareth shouted in surprise about this, and everyone was shocked at this as well. Damn it! It seems like it can regenerate its joints. Finn looked at the fight and saw that where I struck Udeus, its armor didn't appear again. It didn't heal or nothing. But it took 15 hits from Eyes to even crack the armor. Finn immediately yelled out to crack the armor or destroy it, so it's much easier to get to the crystal itself. And that was their plan, just hitting, cracking, and everything else, with Riveria chanting her magic. Back with Bell. Bell has charged up for 2 minutes of his Argonaut skill. And opening his eyes, he sees some other adventurers being thrown back from a yell from Goliath. Bell, seeing this, used his charge of Argonaut to channel his magic into it and then launch the lightning bolt straight at Udeus's face. When the Udeus looked down to see what was flying at him that was white in color that was blinding, it hits into Udeus's eye, shocking him and making him freeze for moments when he stood there. And after that, Bell and the others that were standing around started to attack the Goliath's, one of its legs, and Aisha coming running up with her, skill activated, or magic spell activated, jumped up to where Bell was, where he carved a big wound, using her blade to cut into the wound, and going straight through, cutting off the Goliath's, one of its legs above its knee. With it falling down to the ground and hearing the warning of the mages casting their spell, everyone retreated from the area, and with Luthia casting the fire magic that Viveria casted, it started to, well, a big fire pillar came from the ground, hitting the Goliath hard and harder, for, well, burning into it and actually burning away to see the crystal. And the other magic spells hitting it around it, so it also gets flesh get torn off and everything else. But when everyone thought they could defeat it, the wound that showed the crystal was already starting to heal and, well, covered up the crystal again. Bell, seeing this, tried to charge up an Argonaut skill, but the Goliath looked at Bell himself, and Bell was thrown back from one of its yells, being thrown away with the other and his friends yelling at where he was, but Bell disappeared into the tree line, hitting trees, well, one after the other actually breaking through, but rolling on the ground, and then black. Bell was knocked out by another tree. Bell woke up in a white void with a mist laying above him. He was laying on his stomach, not the same position he was at when he was knocked out, but when he pushed himself up from the ground, there was no one, and he recognized the place, well, somehow, as the place he met the sword, the spirit of the sword. It's the same place. But why am I here? She's not here. What am I doing here? Am I dead? Bell walked a few steps away from the area he woke up in and stopped and looked around again. Well, you took your sweet time to come here. Bell stopped. He recognized that voice. That voice. The last time he heard it, it was crazy, and Bell looked back to spot Michael. Michael, his friend from long ago, stood there with a kind smile on his face, not the same, well, angry, psychotic he was at the end of his life. Bell stood there across from him, shocked to see his friend. How are you here? I'm here because you're almost at the death door, but luckily for you, you won't die. So, I'm in the between? Yes, you're between death and the living. Well, if we will say percentage, you're probably 60% into the, well, being dead and 40% being alive. But why are you here? Why are you talking to me? You should be angry about me. I'm the one that executed you. And I'm thankful you did. What? Well, that wasn't me. What? You know the depths area where the corruption was? Yeah, with the malice and stuff. Or the gloom. Yeah. When I went down into the, cavern below the, castle with the, party that was going down there, yes, I touched a very strong part of the gloom, and that affected me. What? Well, the gloom affected me, so I got madder and different than I should have ever been. You saved me. You stopped me for doing a horrible thing that night when you caught me. I couldn't stop myself, Belle. I'm not happy I'm dead. I missed all of them. I missed my friends. And I missed Luke. But the gloom affected me so much I could not see rhyme from reason. The day I wanted to take the sword under the castle, down to where His Majesty fought that demon lord. If you hadn't stopped me, well, we would have been in danger again. I saved the kingdom by accident? Yes. And I'm thankful you relieved me of my pain. Michael stepped closer to Belle. And when he was in front, Michael grabbed Belle's shoulder. I'm so glad you set me free from my torturer's mind. I'm happy you released me from my pain of being so different from who I was, Belle. I still killed you. And I took you from the person you love. I took you from Cell. Not Cell. I took you from Sora. Belle, Sora was just a friend to me. What? To be honest, I'm not attracted to girls. Wait, what? Yeah. You see, the gloom still had the mind of the demon lord, so it affected me of kidnapping the princess, turning into the obsession of the princess, love of the princess. I never loved Sora that way. Never did. I love her as a friend, but as a lover, I never did. I never was attracted to girls. Belle stood there, but if you weren't attracted to girls, then I don't. Yeah, you gay. I now understand that, but wait, you mentioned Luke. Yes. Oh my god, you and Luke? Yes. Oh my god, I am. Oh my god. Yeah. And I killed you in front of him. He was there at the execution. He was. Oh my fucking god, I killed you in front of him. Yeah. Oh, he must be pissed. Oh, he must be angry at me. Oh, fuck, oh, fuck. You can say that. This is... Never mind. I saved you? You did? Oh. And by the way, when you go back, please hand the knife over to Luke when he visits. Wait, what? Yes. I know a lot I can still see through. I don't want my soul to go being reincarnated. So, I'm still in heaven right now. Give the knife back to Luke? It's a very special thing I wanted to give him before I got infected. Please, do that, man. Sure, I can. Good. Luke then pushed Belle closer to him, but Belle didn't know what he was doing before Luke pushed him down to the ground, shocking Belle. And please be careful, I still want to... And please, when you see all of them, say sorry for me. After Belle fell to the ground of the, place he was at, and into the mist, Belle gasped of shock of, coming back to life in the, tent of being recovered. Belle fell off the, Belle immediately stood up from the place he was laying down by Wealth. Jesus Christ, man! Fuck, sorry. After sitting up from, coming back to, his body again, Belle stood out to look at, at the people fighting the Goliath and Udeus continuously. There's no stop to it, is there? No. We can't defeat them right now. Belle looked around for his swords, but... Fuck, where's my blades? I don't know, I couldn't find them where you landed. Damn it! Belle looked around for more and felt the knife of Michael. Hearing the words of Michael, of his, regret of, not being alive, to just be with his friends, Belle remembered the fight with the skeleton minotaur. Of him feeling something with his magic. Remembering of, I think Belle would have been, Belle was reminded of how he almost conjured a blade out of magic of, forming the, a blade of some sort. He couldn't actually see what it was of his, magic combining. Belle started to walk, grabbing the blade, the knife of Michael, started to walk towards the Goliath. Belle, what are you doing? I have a plan. I just need time. Walking into the forest and down below to the area where people was fighting. Belle's armor set, by the way, is completely taken off of Belle because it was, bent and warped in different places, so it was kind of useless. Belle saw Reef flying around shooting frost arrows and fire bombs into its eyes and everything else, distracting it. Okay. Focus. Belle grabbed the knife and started to cover it with fire, lightning, and ice. But the knife wasn't, melted, frozen, or destroyed, but it started to shine, with it starting to reveal a different handle. Focus. Make the blade. The handle formed out to be different, a wing kind of guard with a rounded bottom of a sword. When Belle was thinking about concentrating, Belle activated its Argonaut skill and it started to ring out. Mikoto landed in front of Belle, but when she looked back to see Belle again to warn him, she saw that Belle was conjuring something up, but he needed time. Okay, you have a plan. Mikoto started to chant and then cast her own magic, the gravity one. And when people saw the magic circle above it and slamming down on it, people rushed away from it when Mikoto started to compress it down. Well, seeing this and seeing... he wouldn't actually have it on him. Well, seeing this, rushed over to where Lufia was casting... the other mages was casting... and yelled they should hurry to hit it when it was, trapped. Lufia, seeing this, nodded at this, and after done casting, she cast her spell upon Yugius with the other mages. On the second time they tried, hitting them with same spells with more magic. Lufia went on her knees where Welf grabbed her so she didn't hit the floor hard, putting her arm around his shoulders but making sure that he wasn't touching any skin. They saw that the Goliath still went up from the hit they gave him, but it was slower now. Ryu, seeing the Belle casting something, cast her own, magic and hitting the Goliath with it, making sure it was more damage and everything else. After charging for 5 minutes, Belle opened his eyes to see a white blade in his hands that looks like the Master Sword, with its blade shining blue, yellow... blue, green, and red. Belle, smiling and thought about the name of his new magic spell. Because of Belle combining his red flame, his green flame, and his blue flame into one singular one, it created a version of the Master Sword. But this is just a replica, a small replica of probably 5% of its actual power. So it's a very long concentration. But Belle, after Belle charged up, he was covered in a white light, covering him from head to toe, and covering the blade, boosting its power immensely. And across the floor, even over at the Udeu's fight, they could hear a gong from a church just hitting and hitting. Everyone looked around to see what it was, but after Bell was covered in light, he charged forward with the blade of imagine the blade that the robot Link from Hyrule Heroes, where Zelda went back in time, that game for the Switch to where he went back to time, and she met a robot that looks like Link. When that robot just controlled a white Master Sword, yeah, that's more bells, but more glass-like, with fire, lightning, and ice in the middle of the blade. Now that blade has turned pure white of Bell's Argonaut skill going overdrive. Bell running forward towards the, Goliath, with others seeing him rushing forward with his magic activated, and, Udeu's raising his arm to strike down towards Bell. But Bell, seeing this, jump over the arm when it almost hit him to the ground, but jumped through the fingers and landing on the arm itself, running up across the arm. When the Goliath tried to, smack him, Bell jumped up further over its head, and when it saw Bell, he reached up with his arms, trying to smack him, reach up with both arms, trying to clap, crushing him between them. But Bell fell quicker than the Goliath could hit Bell. Raising up the white Master Sword, Bell screamed and hit the top of the Goliath. And Bell just started to cut between the Goliath, with it screaming hard from the attack of Bell. Bell continued to cut through the Goliath, cutting through him and all the way through, landing on the ground, and with the Goliath standing there in a clapping, with his both hands clapping above him, looks like he's praying on his feet. But when he did, the Goliath shined with a bright light through his top of his head down below, and when with his stutter of the Goliath crystal, all that was in the battle heard it crack, with Goliath shattering into white mist, not the black one, white mist that went across the floor, with it sounded of its defeat. Bell landed on the ground, breathed heavily, and started to go out of the crater where the Goliath was. After getting up from the crater, he looked around to the exhausted members of the quote-unquote party, and Bell yelled out, "Everyone get ready!" Everyone looked at Bell in confusion, and Bell yelled out, "Everyone that's above level 2! Everyone that's a high level 2! Please, get ready to fight. If you're not injured, go to the tent. We have to move to help out the remainder of the Loki Familia to give them a chance to kill that Udeus, you don't fight it. You fight whatever is holding them up. Get the injures out, but don't fight the floor boss. Everyone that heard him stopped for a moment until people started to listen to his words. And everyone rushed to grab the injured to get them to the tent. With Bell, leading everyone out of the battlefield and towards the Loki Familia camp. When they got there, Bell looked over the battlefield where he could see it. He could see that they have actually, destroyed the blade of Udeus. With eyes, Gareth, Finn, and Riveria. And Finn was trying to cut off joints and everything else. Trying to distract it so he couldn't, get the other joints that was already off. Being a hand from the right side of the Udeus was, the right hand was cut off. And the 2 fingers from the left was chopped off away. And Bell could see the armor of the Udeus was cracked, broken, and everything else. But where the crystal was, it wasn't broken off, so no one could hit it. Bell told them, the people that came with him, to grab the injured and make sure they were going to a person that could heal them. Looking back at where Lufia was, Bell told her to get all the mages that could still cast spells to go to Riveria to help her and the other mages, but those that has healing spells need to stay at the tents. Nodding at this, Bell almost moved forward with the people that was moving in to, help out the others. Bell saw a white cloth holding a special blade. Walking over, Bell reveals the blade of the Udeus that Eyes fought. This would help. Bell was rushing, around the grounds, cutting through monsters and everything else. Bell has recovered both of his blades, by the way. Wells searched for them afterwards after dropping Lufia off and her getting a magic potion to restore her magic, reserves. Bell went into the forest where Bell landed and searched around for his weapons, finding them and handing it over to Bell, and Bell, having them again, cut through the skeleton monsters that was there. Rushing through and cutting through monsters, Bell spotted Eyes while jumping away from the, Udeus and landing next to Finn, Gareth, and, Beat. Bell, thinking about the attack, knew that Eyes had to do the last blow. He doesn't know if Gareth, Finn, or Beat had magic that could be used with this blade, but Eyes was the only one he knew. He had only a few, mana left. If he used, 2 more spells, Bell would have been falling unconscious at this point. Bell yelled out for Finn, Gareth, Beat, and Eyes, with them turning around to see Bell rushing over to them. Finn asking what the hell he was doing here, and Bell said they have already defeated Goliath. Finn sighed in relief, but asking what Bell was doing in the actual battle. I cannot do much, but I'm here to, well, here just to help out. Bell pulled the Udeus blade from his back and handed it over to Ice. Ice, you have to use this. But we're dealing with an abnormal Udeus right now. You have to finish this fight. Are you sure? Yes. You're the only one that can conjure magic. And right now, we would need that magic to hit wherever the crystal is. I don't know where it is, but it's very protected because that chest plate is very hard. Beat could use it, but he doesn't have magic to, well, boost it better. Gareth is not a magic user. Sorry, Mr. Gareth. It's fine, kid. Mr. Finn, I don't know if you have magic. And not that kind of magic. You're the only one. What about you? I'm very low on, well, mine right now. I can probably pass out with 2 fireball spells. Alright, I get it. So get ready and charge up the most powerful wind you have ever done. The rest of us will handle the creatures that surround and handle the minions. The rest of us will distract it. With the plan set in action and everyone agreeing of it, Bells held out to distract the Udeus from attacking Ice. With Gareth, well, telling Ice to get on his axe, and her jumping on it, Gareth throw with all of his strength as far as she can up into the air. With Ice concentrating up, holding the blade of Udeus in her hands, she concentrated with her magic, concentrating her magic into the blade as much as she can. Belle fighting off some of the, well, minions of Beat, Gareth, and Finn, cutting into them and everything else, with Lufia and Riveria casting a magic spell upon it again, with the others getting away from it. It's the same fire spell as well. Hitting the creature and breaking off more armor to see a point where the crystal is. I saw this and get ready to plummet towards the Udeus. That hasn't spotted her because for him, she just ran away. When she focused all of her wind, she cast her... No, I don't remember its name. It's a magic spell that boosts up Ice's power, but turned her wind kind of black. She wouldn't use it in this fight, but her wind was mostly powerful when she charged down towards the, well, Udeus. And when it looked up to see what was happening, Ice landed on its chest with its wind carving into the armor, blowing away the chunks from it and cutting into where the crystal was and hitting the bone, but it broke slowly for what it was. But then she heard fireball. Looking over, Belle has casted a fireball aiming towards Ice's wind. Ice was shocked, but when Belle's fireball hit Ice's wind, it turned into a fire tornado. and that caused the fire tornado to burn quicker into the monster. And with the power of this, Udeo's blade, it was slammed into the crystal of the unusual Udeus, and with it stopping and the crystal hit, Udeo stopped moving and blown apart into white, mist. Everyone stood there with the floor turning into a blue scape of color. With Belle looking at, everything, the color turned back. Belle landed on his knees and panted a lot because he's almost at mind down at this point. Belle looked up to see eyes walking out with the handle of the Udeu's blade that broke apart after being used with magic. She was walking out as slowly as possible, her being tired at this point. She reached where Belle was and, collapsed on her knees and fell towards Belle. Fell towards Belle with him grabbing her so she didn't fall on the ground. Belle helping her into a more comfortable position where Belle had eyes sitting in his lap. Sorry about that. Belle held eyes into her sitting. Belle was sitting in a with his knees crossed, but having his Belle's one of his legs was standing up with one of them being on his full leg on the ground, so Eyes had a kind of seat so she can sit down and relax. Are you okay, Eyes?
I'm tired. What happened in your fight? Really, you're gonna ask me that? I'm curious.
I defeated Goliath.
You did? Yeah. It was...
I will just say it was
an experience to, channel all that magic into a blade.
Belle looked at, his hand, one of his hands, and smiled, remembering the talk with Michael. I feel more happier right now that we're alive. I smiled at this and nodded. After some few moments, Gareth with, Finn walked over to the two, sitting there. Are you young ones okay?
Yeah, we're fine. Just a lot tired.
I can see that. Now, we have to get everyone healed. The fight is over and every single monster that was here is gone.
Yeah, question, why didn't we retreat?
Oh, we forgot to tell you. The floor was blocked off. Fuck. Yes.
Oh, we have to deal with the Goliaths when we get up, don't we?
Don't worry, that one is easier.
Okay.
Belle sighed at this and asked, wanted to get up, but Eyes was still sitting in, still was leaning on Belle's leg for, like a seat.
Hey, Eyes, can you move?
I can't. Why can't you? My legs are shaking because my legs are burning. Even though it's not a difficult fight, I'm still not recovering for the last big battle I had. Eyes groaned at this. Really? Yeah. I thought you were rested up from that one. Yes, Eyes did tell about the fight with the corrupted spirit in well, at some point Eyes told him about the corrupted spirit. Maybe at the dinner party the day before. Do you need help? This is embarrassing, but can you carry me? Are you sure? Just do it, please. I can't move. Okay, calm down. Bell put one of his arm underneath Ice's knees and put one of them on Ice's back. Yeah, he carried her princess style with Eyes putting her arms around Belle's neck. Are you sure you just don't want to walk right now? I'm still tired. Okay, fine. Finn and Gareth seeing this, Gareth just laughed and just, youth these days are very forward. I must say, you're kinda right, Gareth. Both Eyes and Belle didn't hear this because, well, they didn't really care. After some few minutes of, well, resting up and everything else. Now, after some few hours of sitting around getting healed and rested up, people started to search for bodies of the fights. Bell walked away from everyone, standing on the cliff that he was on this morning, carving the ocarina. But Bell looked at the knife that he had and looked at it. It was Michael's dagger, yes, but what was so special with the knife to Luke? Looking at it, the only weird thing was the ball on the bottom of the handle. It was not a half ball or anything else. It was a fully rounded one. Bell never checked it out fully because it was very good making, but Bell studied that part more and saw a line going through it. A straight line. That's not possible. Bell wiggled it around a little, seeing what it was. But then he started to turn it one way. And then Bell felt it could be taken off the knife. After Bell did this, he looked at, the hole where it was screwed on, because that was not a normal way to make this. Bell looked at it and spotted a sort of release thing at the bottom of the hole that was in this ball. Huh. Picking up a small branch from the ground that was fell off in the fight, Belle put it in and pressed it. Well, released the mechanism for the ball to release itself. It's splitting in half, but still connected to each other. Belle looked at what was inside, and he was shocked. Now I get it. Now I get it why Michael want me to get this back to Luke. Sighing at what he had done, Belle closed up the ball and put it back into, screw it back into the knife. I should probably give this back to him. Michael wanted that. Walking back towards the camp, Belle sat down at a campfire where Eyes, Tioni and Tyona and some of his friends were sitting at. Everyone was sitting there exhausted and everything else. But Belle sitting beside Eyes because it was the only place with a place to sit at. Eyes leaned her head on Belle's shoulder. Thank you for carrying me up here. No problem. I should reward you for helping me defeating Udeus. I don't need any reward or anything else. Sorry. I don't need any rewards or anything else. What the fuck is that? Belle smiled at Eyes saying these words, but Eyes didn't want to hear it. No, you need a reward of some kind. Eyes fought, but Belle tried to say she didn't need to. And then she had an idea. Belle trying to say she doesn't need to, but Eyes grabbed, Belle's arm. Grabbed not the shirt, but under his arm to pull him down to where she was, sitting. And with everyone watching, she gave Belle a kiss on the cheek. After letting go, there was a little kiss mark on Belle's cheek, with him blushing at this. Thank you for helping. No problem. Everyone chuckled at Belle's reaction for him getting a kiss from Eyes. And that is going to be it from this episode. I hope you guys enjoyed. If you don't know the next part, it's gonna be what if Belle Cranel was an item maker? What if Belle Cranel was a monster hunter? What if Deku was the reincarnation of Link? Okay, bye! Good morning, goodbye, farewell, see you later. Have a wonderful, wonderful, wonderful day, my blue masks. Bye-bye!